High above the Arctic tundra, where the wind howls through towering cliffs and the temperature bites at anything unprepared, a new life begins. But for the barnacle goose, birth is only the first step in an immediate fight for survival. Unlike most birds that hatch in the safety of nests hidden in trees or burrows, these tiny, fragile creatures are born on sheer rock faces, hundreds of feet above the unforgiving ground below. Their parents have chosen this perilous location for a reason: protection from Arctic foxes and other predators. But what keeps them safe as eggs now presents an impossible challenge. These chicks cannot stay up here forever. There is no food, no water, no shelter. Their only chance to live is to leave. But with no wings strong enough to fly, there is only one way down. A death-defying leap that no other newborn creature on Earth would dare attempt. And now, as the sun barely grazes the horizon in this land of endless daylight, the moment of truth has arrived. In a nest carved into the side of an icy cliff, a mother goose watches over her young. 3 have already hatched, their tiny heads covered in soft down, their eyes barely open to the world. The 4th chick cracks through its shell, weak and exhausted, but alive. A 5th egg remains still. For now, there is no time to wait. The mother knows what comes next. Down below, far beneath the rocky ledge, her mate calls out, urging his young to take the leap. But can they survive the fall? The first chick wobbles forward, peering over the edge. It has no understanding of what lies below, only the instinct that compels it to move toward its parents' calls. The wind is strong, ruffling its downy feathers. It hesitates. Its tiny webbed feet grip the rocky surface, sensing the emptiness beyond. For a moment, it freezes. Then, without warning, it jumps. The world rushes past in a blur. It tumbles, its small wings flailing uselessly, spinning out of control. The ground approaches fast. Too fast. It braces for impact, but nature has given it just enough of a chance. The chick's incredibly light body, barely weighing more than a handful of feathers, slows the fall just enough to prevent instant death. It crashes against the rocks, bouncing, tumbling, rolling to a stop. For a few agonizing seconds, it does not move. Is it alive? Then, a tiny twitch, a flutter of movement. The chick stirs, its fragile body stunned but miraculously intact. Against all odds, it has survived. The second chick is next. It hesitates longer than the first. The ledge is cold beneath its feet. Its tiny heart races, but the call from below is insistent. Its parents are waiting. It has no choice. With a sudden burst of courage, it leaps. This one falls differently. Instead of a clean tumble, it hits a jagged rock on the way down, flipping mid-air before hitting the ground at an awkward angle. When it lands, there is no movement. Its small body lies still against the unforgiving earth. The mother goose calls again, but there is no response. One has already been lost. The third chick takes its turn, but its leap is unsteady. Instead of falling straight down, the wind catches it, pushing it sideways. It careens dangerously toward the cliffside, scraping against sharp rocks before finally landing. Stunned but breathing, it tries to move but falters. The mother calls louder, her urgency growing. Time is running out. The Arctic is full of opportunistic predators, and she knows they are already watching. The fourth chick, weak, just hours old, approaches the edge. It stares down at the vast emptiness, confused, its instincts battling against fear. It takes a hesitant step forward, but its legs tremble. It isn't ready. Not yet. Its tiny body collapses, exhausted. It does not jump. The mother is faced with an impossible choice. She cannot stay. If she lingers too long, the foxes will come, and she must lead her surviving chicks away before it is too late. But what about the fourth chick? It is still on the cliff, too weak to jump, and too far for her to reach. If she leaves now, it will die alone. But if she waits, she risks losing all of them. Below, the father honks urgently. He knows the danger is growing. The mother hesitates for a final moment, then makes her decision. She calls once more to the chick above, hoping it will gather the strength to jump. But the little one remains still, unable to move. Then she turns away. With the two surviving chicks by her side, she begins leading them away, toward safety. The harsh reality of nature is cruel, but there is no other way. The family moves quickly, but the danger is far from over. An Arctic fox has been watching, waiting for this moment. It moves swiftly across the tundra, sniffing the air, searching for the weakest straggler. One of the chicks stumbles. It struggles to keep up. The fox sees its opportunity and begins to close the distance. The father goose spreads his wings, hissing in warning. But he is no match for a hungry predator. The chick is only feet away from being caught, when suddenly it finds its footing. Summoning every ounce of strength, it pushes forward, scrambling toward its mother just in time. The fox pauses, frustrated. It could chase, but the parents are too alert. The risk isn't worth it. Not yet. It turns away, disappearing into the tundra, waiting for another opportunity. Hours later, the mother goose and her two surviving chicks reach a safer location. They huddle together, warmth radiating between them. They have made it through the first great challenge of their lives. But the mother's eyes still linger on the distant cliffs. She knows what was left behind. Back at the ledge, the fourth chick is alone. The nest is empty, the world eerily silent. It looks around, chirping weakly, but there is no response. The Arctic wind howls through the cliffs, and night begins to fall. It shivers, its small body barely strong enough to keep itself warm. The same predators that lurked below now move toward the cliffside, drawn by the scent of something vulnerable. The chick stares into the darkness, unable to comprehend the fate that awaits. And as the night deepens, the harsh reality sets in. Not all were meant to survive, but those who did, they are the future of the barnacle geese. The ones tough enough to make the journey south. The ones who will one day return to these very cliffs to raise chicks of their own. And when the time comes, their young will face the same impossible leap. Because in the Arctic, life is never guaranteed. Only the strongest will endure. If you found this story as breathtaking as we did, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more incredible wildlife journeys. And remember, nature is as brutal as it is beautiful.